Hi guys, this is Klazart doing the audio commentary, and this time I'm commentating on the Avalon MSL quarterfinals round of 8 matchup between Bisu, the Protoss ninja himself, and Iris. And it looks like we've got Iris at the 1 o'clock position. This is Byzantium 3, by the way, which seems to be a fairly even map thus far for Protoss versus Terran balance. 5v5 for Terran versus Protoss right now. I'm not sure if that's including this game or not. We've got Bisu at the 11 o'clock position in blue, so fairly balanced map, and this should be a good game of StarCraft. Finally a game that doesn't feature a single Zerg player in it. Probably actually the only game in this round of 8 that doesn't feature a Zerg player. 5 out of the 8 players in the MSL in the round of 8 are Zergs, which is just absolutely crazy. And even as a Zerg fan myself, I feel it's a little bit of overkill. I wouldn't mind seeing perhaps Flash in here, and perhaps Stork in here somewhere. You know, one or two other good players, maybe Lita. I don't know. I wouldn't have minded seeing some other good players of other races as well. And you know, ideally, of course, the Emperor himself, Boxer. But I have a feeling that perhaps next season we might see him come around if there is another season before StarCraft 2 pops out onto the scene and replaces the pro scene in StarCraft. Although it's impossible to predict exactly what will happen. I just want to take a quick opportunity here as well to apologize, especially to the female fans who might have been offended, or anyone else really who was offended by the triple X rated Toss Girl versus Reach commentary that we did, myself and Cholera, on the Volatech account. I know some fans, I got some messages from some fans who weren't really happy about that, and didn't appreciate that style of humor, and I can completely see their point of view. I do generally try to keep the commentaries professional and clean, but you know what, guys, I really don't want to apologize about it. You know, I want to stand up for my principles and say that I should have a right to make fun of whoever I want, whenever I want, as much as I want. But Mrs. Klazart has laid the ultimatum down. If I hadn't given this public apology, it looks like Bisu is scouting in the correct direction. Iris just starting up his racks and taking his refinery. Mrs. Klazart has laid the ultimatum down, guys. Had laid the ultimatum down. Should I not have given this public apology and presented proof of it to her, she would stop cooking her chicken curry for me. And you know, I can go without sex, but you know, man's got to eat, guys. Man's got to eat. So my apologies to any fans who were offended by those comments. But hopefully we can keep it a little bit cleaner in the future. Looks like Bisu just doing a little bit of harass with that probe. Iris with that SCV coming under fire. Bisu's almost managed to kill that SCV, and this is a little bit reminiscent of what Yellow did to Toss Girl, and I know I'm going to get in more trouble for saying that, but SCV goes down. Bisu takes the SCV down with a probe. That's massive. I mean, okay, in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to end the game. It's not going to decide the game in Bisu's favor, but it's a huge psychological blow. You're basically telling an opponent that you out-microed them in their base and took out an SCV of theirs with a probe when they had 2 SCVs trying to repair and trying to damage the probe. Iris, meanwhile, starting up that factory. I think he's still continuing to mine the gas, so we're not going to see a fast expand for him. Iris, obviously famous for his berserker style of play, for his 2 factory timing pushes against Protoss players, overwhelming them. I don't think Bisu's going to fall for it, even if Iris does try it, or that Bisu will be vulnerable to it. Iris now with a couple of Marines out. Bisu now sending the Zealot down just to get a little bit more scouting information after that probe was ushered away by those Marines, and Bisu's Zealot just coming around. But yeah, it's I mean, it can mess up your opponent's timings if they lose that SCV to that on that racks. They don't anticipate losing that. Moreover, it's a psychological blow. It really is, and that's going to upset Iris a little bit. Now Bisu coming around with the Zealot and a probe. Iris now sending out an SCV trying to scout. Bisu, meanwhile, and it'll be interesting to see if Iris can actually get that. Iris with a very late scout, it has to be said. But I guess he's kind of feels comfortable enough in his build that he doesn't. And Iris now starting up his machine shop. He does have 3 Marines out and just holding Bisu at bay with those Marines. Bisu's Dragoon just following that SCV, trying to stop it from getting in. That SCV would probably escape past that Dragoon, and Iris might be able to get a scout in here in Bisu's base, although Bisu hasn't really done anything spectacular as yet. 1 gate down so far. It'll be interesting to see whether he puts that robotics facility down next and decides to tech up, or whether he puts perhaps a 2nd gate down, or whether he decides to expand. But it looks like Bisu is sending a probe out, and I have a feeling that this is going to be a fast expansion from Bisu here. 1 gate into expansion, and it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. Meanwhile, Iris has got about 6 Marines out along with that SCV, and if you guys have been listening to Diggity's commentaries, and I was just going to say, if you guys have been listening to Diggity's commentaries, you would know that those 6 Marines mean that the Terran is looking to make a push early on if they make those 6 Marines, and that's exactly what Iris is going for, that 2 factory build again. And I have to say, a 2 factory build should usually be the perfect counter to a fast expanding Protoss, because a Protoss shouldn't have enough units to be able to deal with it on just that 1 gateway, and be delayed in their tech as well when that push arrives. So Bisu's going to have to play pretty well here, because Iris's build should directly counter it, and I'm surprised that Bisu went for that build, even though he got that Zealot down there, and he saw that Bisu went for that build, even though Bisu saw that Iris had put that factory down, and Iris just trying to push out with his Marines. He's got about 7 Marines and a siege tank, 7 Marines and a siege tank and an SCV there. Bisu Bisu with the 3 Dragoons trying to hold Iris off. Bisu brilliantly fighting as he's retreating, fighting in depth, defensive depth, takes down 3 Marines already, takes down another Marine, and another one goes down. So Bisu, without losing a single Dragoon, wipes out all of Iris's Marines. Iris just escapes with the 1 Marine, which I think is probably going to get picked off as well, and Bisu does pick it off. Brilliant Dragoon micro at that exit to Iris's natural expo from Bisu. 3 Dragoons against a tank, 7 Marines, an SCV and a Vulture. All the Marines get taken out, and now Iris does have Spider Mines, however. The key is that Bisu hasn't seen that second siege tank, so I'm not sure if Bisu is 100% aware of what Iris is doing, if he's aware of this build. To be honest, it doesn't really matter because Bisu's already committed himself. Bisu's probe just they're being intercepted by that Vulture, and Iris looks like he might be researching. I think he's already got Spider Mines, so he might either be researching siege mode there or Vulture speed, probably Vulture speed to be honest. Bisu with about 4 Dragoons now, but Bisu should be in a decent position to defend. He's got his robotics facility up, he's building an observatory next. He's also got his second gateway going down. He's got about 5 goons. He didn't lose any goons there, and he slowed Iris from pushing out. This is going to be critical here. Iris is going to have a very small window of time before Bisu gets enough forces. Iris is really going to have to make his early push count, and it's all going to come down to how well Bisu defends. Iris looks like he's only mining gas with the 1 SCV there, so it looks like he might be getting ready to take his natural expo. But Iris is going to need to do some economic damage to Bisu here to offset the damage he's already taken. And really, when you go for this kind of 2-fact push, you really have to make it tell against an opponent who's fastest man. Otherwise, they run away with the game. Bisu has got a couple of pylons in there as well to narrow the space through which Iris, so Iris can't just run those Vultures through and get those Spider Mines in behind the lines. But Iris does have 3 tanks as well as about 6 Vultures. Iris now coming in with the Vultures. Bisu backing away. He's bringing the probes out to fight as well. He has to be careful that he doesn't get his probes caught in the Spider Mines. Iris managed to sneak up 2 Vultures out by planting those Spider Mines down, and now got those Vultures around Bisu's gateways. Meanwhile, Bisu's lost a Dragoon already, and he's not able to maneuver. He doesn't seem to have an observer in place. He's not able to move those Dragoons within the siege tanks. Iris brings the siege tanks in. Bisu countering with the Dragoons. Iris still with the Vultures in play, bringing more Vultures in to reinforce, more Spider Mines going down. Bisu continuing to counter, but Bisu's losing those Dragoons, and he doesn't able to produce those Dragoons at a fast enough rate. Iris siege tanks still arrive. Iris with still the 2 siege tanks with Bisu's 3 Dragoons, and Bisu with only the 2 Dragoons left. Bisu in a lot of trouble here, folks. Bisu in massive trouble. Bisu's losing all of his Dragoons. He's just got the 1 Dragoon left. Can he kill a siege tank before it goes down? He cannot. He loses his Dragoons, and surely there's going to be trouble for him. Iris still with the 1 Vulture in Bisu's base, taking those probes down, massacring those probes, and Bisu under huge trouble now fighting with probes against siege tanks in his natural expo, and that's not a good place for any Protoss player to be. And are we going to be seeing, guys, another upset here? This is going to be absolutely massive. Bisu is in massive trouble. Now finally managed to get a couple of Dragoons down. 1 goes down to Spider Mine, takes a Spider Mine hit. 2nd goes down as well, and that's got to be GG. That's got to be GG. Iris with a 2-fact timing push. The Berserker breaks the door down and kills everyone inside, and there's nothing that Bisu can do. The Ninja is overcome by the sheer venom of the Berserker, by the sheer power. Another Dragoon pops out, only to be polished off by a Spider Mine, and that's got to be GG, folks. That's got to be GG. Iris taking game 1, a huge upset, and this despite some brilliant micro from Bisu, first killing that SCV with his probe, and then killing all of those Marines with his early Dragoons. But you've got to say, Iris was clever there. He kept his 2nd siege tank and a couple of Vultures back and didn't reveal the full extent of his forces to Bisu, and I think that lulled Bisu perhaps into a slightly false sense of security. Bisu thinking that Iris was just going to go for 1 fact into command center, and he put his natural expo down, and that was his undoing, guys. Great game of StarCraft by Bisu, but the question still hangs over him. I personally feel that by Iris. I personally still feel that Iris is a severely underrated player by most current StarCraft fans. I still remember him from those fantastic series he had against Savior, those best of 5 series that were absolutely epic. But the question still hangs over him: is he a one-trick pony?